So the Acolyte did not do very well. Confirmed, the Acolyte performs worse than Ahsoka. Global minutes viewed less than Ahsoka's US premiere viewership. And also everything else. Worse than The Mandalorian. Worse than
Echo. Well, no,
Obi-Wan
not as bad.
Kenobi. The only thing that was worse than it was Andor, which is, that's not a surprise due to what Andor's content is about. But yeah, this is real bad. So let's just take a look at this real quick. A new report confirms that The Acolyte performed worse than Ahsoka on Disney+. So Deadline's Kate Campion reported that, according to Lucasfilm data, The Acolyte's 2-episode premiere only attracted 11.1 million views globally after 5 days of streaming. This report confirms that The Acolyte performed worse than the most recent Star Wars live-action series, Ahsoka. According to a blog post on StarWars.com, Lucasfilm reported that the debut episode of Ahsoka garnered 14 million views, making the series #1 globally on the streaming platform. In a footnote, Lucasfilm noted, a view is defined as total stream time divided by runtime available. So that is why Disney's been putting out 2 episodes in one go. That's why. To get the runtime up. Right? It's to play with the numbers.
Why not just make it an hour show to begin with?
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. But that is...
I haven't watched it, but a lot of people have been griping about where they've decided to cut the episodes off to. They're saying it feels very unnatural.
Oh, the whole thing's unnatural. Like, it's a real bad show, mate. It's real bad.
But that's the common thing with all these Marvel and Star Wars shows. They never feel like they logically think about where the show should end and leave you hanging for the next episode. It always just feels like, okay, let's just cut it here. Like it was just one long 3 or 4 hour thing, and then they just decided where to cut it up, right? Unlike where I watch, actual television, Tulsa King, for instance, where you get a cliffhanger at the end of a show, and you're like, oh no, I gotta wait till next week, that kind of a thing.
Or Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon. That was very much like that.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Yeah, but there's so many shows that do it bad. They're not well thought out. They're awful. So it says this, the total runtime of the first episode of Ahsoka was 56 minutes, 25 seconds. However, series released 2 episodes back-to-back for its premiere. So to answer your question, they still do it because it bumps the runtime up. The second episode's runtime was 43:57. That means combined, the 2-episode runtime was 100 minutes, 22 seconds. The Acolyte released 2 episodes on its premiere date. Total runtime for each, for both, totaled 73 minutes, 55 seconds. It means the total minutes viewed globally for The Acolyte was around 820 million, while Ahsoka was around 1.4 billion. Pretty bad. However, it's unclear how accurate the Walt Disney Company's reporting is. Data tracking company Nielsen reported Ahsoka's 2-episode premiere garnered 829 million minutes viewed. So again, we can't really trust them. Of course we can't. Andor's 3-episode premiere racked up 624 million minutes viewed. So pretty bad by comparison. And Andor showrunner Tony Gilroy famously said that they were chasing the audience. So if you're getting viewership like that and he's saying that, that's not a success. But interestingly, to compare, The Acolyte performed worse than Obi-Wan Kenobi, as well as The Mandalorian Season 2. Obi-Wan Kenobi premiered with 2 episodes in May, racked up 958 million minutes viewed. So over 100 million minutes less. And that's according to Nielsen. So Disney would have thought it was more, basically, because their figures are screwed up. Mandalorian Season 2 racked up basically 1 billion minutes, which is crazy. And even Mandalorian Season 3, which was arguably dog shit, and people knew it was dog shit, and there wasn't really much hype for it, 823 million minutes viewed. So it's abundantly clear that this show is a failure, obviously. It's the worst reviewed piece of media of any Star Wars ever. It's terrible.
Basically, from what I saw from the numbers, it's like Andor level, basically, because the biggest thing they've done is Obi-Wan, then Mandalorian, then Ahsoka, then this and Andor at this point, ratings wise. And basically, from what I saw, unless this is correcting something else I didn't see correctly, like it's only got about half the ratings of Obi-Wan, which also fell off a cliff. Let's not forget.
Well, no, so this is it's 100 million minutes less than Obi-Wan, basically.
Yeah, I saw something that went by views though. And Obi-Wan had gotten like twice as many viewers than this, basically.
Well, so they're doing it by the millions of minutes watched.
Yeah, this is by the actual minute watched.
Yeah, which is a bit more of an accurate sort of portrayal of viewership total for the run. But I mean, it's not really accurate anyway, really, until we get. It's difficult. It's difficult to say, really. I mean, if they don't count the views properly, you know. So
yeah, because I could care about the. I mean, I get where the minutes are probably more accurate, but I want a breakdown of what our actual viewers. That's what I want to know, like an old Nielsen.
Yeah.
Breakdown.
No, I get that, but you can't really there's no figures like that available. So the best way to do it is the minutes, the millions of minutes watched. It's the closest way you can get to a comparison. But anyway. Leslie Headland has made it abundantly clear that she is to blame if this fails. She says if it doesn't succeed, it's because of me. That's really scary to think about. This was in a New York Times interview. So there you go. I mean, it's an absolute bomb. It's a complete failure. I'll be watching it tomorrow and bringing you my review, and then we'll be reviewing it as a group on Thursday as well. Thoughts, though? I mean, what do you think? Culture.
Well, I mean, this doesn't surprise anybody. I thought that Disney had worded everything that they'd said publicly very, very carefully. They always do, so that they can mislead on the success or failure of something. This was an unmitigated disaster, and frankly, this was the best premiere they'd had. Well, that's because the other jackhole program they released was Echo, which was complete dog shit, right? X-Men 97 may have been good by many people's ratings, but it certainly didn't rate highly when it came to viewership because people don't trust Disney. It comes down to Disney audiences have checked out. If you look at the math, right? You look at the math, which this obviously references some things that Valiant was saying. But this had, if you look at the global audience of Disney Plus and the global audience of HBO's program House of Dragons, right? You look at that. The Acolyte had 1/10 of the viewership that the premiere episode of House of Dragons first season had in its first 7 days. So these numbers, they're very telling. Disney is a failure. Disney as a streaming platform is a failure. Disney as a content creator is a failure. Disney's destroyed the vehicles that used to be, the mint, the money printing things. This is just more of the same. We've seen this forever. We've been saying the same thing each and everything. They go back and it gets worse. And I said it before, I'll say it again. Apathy is the enemy of any of these franchises. And point at something that doesn't have apathy right now. I don't think you can. Tom, you're up.
I like turtles.
Well, there you go.
No, honestly, this show is look, this show is a joke. I guarantee you what at least half of the people that are watching it or half the view hours it's getting are between reviewers, hate watchers, curiosity folk. The actual fans of Star Wars now is such a minimal base of people that there's not even enough of them to really come out and freak out about this show. Because notice from the time of Last Jedi to now, how whenever you say anything negative about something new that's Star Wars, the amount of people that come after you has gotten less and less and less and less, to the point where even the shills, some of the folks that we would consider shills, I've noticed have been saying, I can't even say anything good about this show, right? Like they're stretching to try and find, and they can't. Like they're like getting to a point where some of them are just like, no, this is just a bad show. Like what is this? Like it kind of, I said it last night. I said it kind of reminds me of where we got with Velma. With some of these reviewers, we're like, okay, now we're seeing what you guys are seeing, or at least this is, bad enough. Like we've gone past the point of no return now.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%, 100%. I mean, that is, how do you come back from this? I mean, you'd have to put it to bed and sell it, because I think Disney's like the touch of death now for these kind of properties. They've absolutely destroyed these properties for everyone involved. Like no one cares. The rampant apathy for it, as everyone says.
I think the no one cares narrative is the thing that ultimately is the downfall. I mean, it's not just it's definitely the apathy, as you just said and as I mentioned earlier. But I think Disney's driven away everybody. Honestly, I mean, if I didn't have to review this stuff, I wouldn't. If I didn't have to watch,
I wouldn't watch it. Jesus, I wouldn't watch this for fun. Like I'm only doing it because I'm reviewing it. Like it's funny because I'm reviewing it, but I wouldn't spend my time watching this shit.
Hate watch as you will, but somebody help me with why you would. I mean, if you're not reviewing it, why are you watching it? I don't know.
Chaos is fun. Super chat's $3 and says burning through thousands of dollars a minute for trite. I'll wait for the Rule 34 version of the Acolyte for better writing and more convincing acting. Yeah, probably the prawn version of Acolyte is probably going to be better. Yeah. Olaf, our fantastic moderator, has super chatted $5. Says to me, the Acolyte is KK's attempt to reset Star Wars in her image. She's been the Force's female, while in this show she tries to change it into a female entity. Darth Slipknot would yell, "May, I'm your mother," and she would say, "Yes, yes."
Wow.
That's what we got to look forward to in
we got Mayday, FEMA, and OSHA. What?
Yeah, OSHA. OSHA.
OSHA, Mayday, and FEMA. That's the triplets.
Yeah.
Well, tomorrow's episode is due to be pretty horrendous, so it will be interesting to see.
You're not looking forward to it? Come on now.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. 100% I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely I'm looking forward. Of course I'm looking forward to it. My God.
All right. It's content.
It's going to be absolutely comical, right?
Yeah.
Hugely comical. Right, well, anyway, I think that's enough of that. That is enough of that.